So, just so I can explain what we're doing this for, we picked up the Botan Smuggler mission. So yeah, we picked up the suspicious goods. We have to fly to this sector. Botan will take the goods and warp away. Then we'll get the parts list for the hyperspace jammer, so then we can fight him. The reason why I'm doing this is the artifact you get from Botan is the 50% hyperspace cooldown upgrade, which would be really nice to have in our main ship just because it's so big and it takes a while to cool down. So even with our 28% cooldown reduction that green system gave us, we still have to take 40 seconds to recharge our warp core in an empty sector, right? If we had other objects in the sector, it'd probably be more like 100, 120 seconds, something like that, with the cooldown reduction. So yeah, getting that 50% on top of the 28 we have would be really nice, honestly. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about that real quick. Oh, and also, welcome everybody to the stream. Yeah, I was kind of in the zone. I wanted to get to something that was actually interesting. It is kind of interesting. Apparently this ship is too big to go through warp gates, which is kind of not the greatest, just because I don't have access to Avorion yet in order to make it so this can warp across rifts. So, like, we can get sealed out from specific areas. Oh, I thought they wanted us to go here. Did they actually want us to go up here? They did. God damn it. Okay. Well, we went the complete wrong direction. Well, we did and we didn't. We actually need to go up this way because we have to go around this rift here since we can't go through warp gates. And we're carrying suspicious cargo, so we can't really fly inside of faction sectors because if a Corvette sees us, we'll lose a bunch of rep with the faction and we might lose the goods. So it's not worth flying through there. We got to go through empty space. We might encounter the AI. Even if we do, it shouldn't be a big deal since we don't have a Xsotan artifact yet. Which is kind of unfortunate. We're probably about strong enough to take on the AI, in all honesty. Like, we have a decent amount of health with this ship. It's over 1 million, and we're packing about 4,000 DPS worth of damage, or 4,000 Omicron, a little more, which is pretty good. Yeah, it's mostly Tesla-based, but I think there's only, like, one enemy, or one boss, that has stone on it, on their ship, so those turrets won't work against him, but literally every other, like, boss or enemy you're going to encounter, Tesla and lightning turrets will work just fine. They don't have stone on their ships, or at least I've never encountered one that had stone on their ship. Anyhow, we'll go back to just warping through to complete this first part of the Boltan artifact mission chain or whatever, and then once we finish the Boltan mission chain, we'll probably go out to the outer rim sectors, so the outer edge of the galaxy is what. So once we warp in and I set the next sector, I'll show you what I'm talking about, because we're gonna basically go ahead and start raiding, because I want to get more turrets for one point, I want to get more systems for another point, and I also want a lot of credits for a third point. So yeah, doing raiding will get us all three of those things in one single action that you have to perform. I wouldn't mind setting up another auto miner out in the Xanian region of space, or an R miner somewhere, just because I haven't yet. Like, if I go out to the outer rim, I can actually set up a R miner on the titanium iron region, and it won't be a big deal for us. So I don't really want to deal with these guys. Fuck this. We're just going to fly away. It's fine. We have to wait like 6 minutes anyway before we can warp, so whatever. But our ship is pretty dang fast, so like we're going almost 5,000 meters a second while our warp core is charging and not even touching our battery, which is pretty crazy. It tops out at about 5,000, so that's as fast as it can go, but that's still reasonably good, I think. Anyway, but we might end up making either a mining ship or like a scout ship that I can hop into if I want to go get like systems or something, so it'll be smaller in size, and it'll basically be like a generator, thrusters, a small engine, and a really big hyperspace core. That way it can warp really far, and since it's small in size, it won't have a really massive cooldown. But yeah, that's the plan anyway. But we'll go back with the music real quick, and yeah, I'll come back in if there's something that deserves being talked about. There is one thing I did want to talk about. Oh, actually. Oh, damn. I don't... Well, he doesn't really have anything. This cargo hold upgrade would be pretty good. Turret control wouldn't be bad. You know what? We'll fly over to him. Might as well. We gotta wait like a minute and a half to warp anyway, so... Whoops. Sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to crash into you. We'll just go slow. Yeah, this ship is pretty big. It's kind of like a mothership, more or less. I'll probably end up converting the template a little bit and changing a lot of these blocks to stone and using this as a station template, because it could be pretty good for that. We'll get the cargo hold upgrade, and actually, well, we can only afford the one, I guess. Armed, unarmed, armed, unarmed, unarmed turrets. I don't think any of these are really worth it. So, we'll call that good. Thanks, buddy. Sorry I kind of scratched your ship. Didn't mean to do that. While this is charging, though, I did just want to point out, so I got pretty lucky and found the barrier crossing sector, like, straight away. So this is actually the barrier crossing, so once I have all 8 of the artifacts, I just have to take one ship down into this sector and build 8 garbage ships that just have that one artifact inside of them. Next to each asteroid, it'll open up the barrier portal. A bunch of guys will come out. You don't actually have to fight them, though, unless you care about saving the ships. You do keep the systems, though, if you have reconstruction tokens. So what I do is just make sure each of those ships have a reconstruction token. Let them all get killed by the Xsotan so you don't have to fight them. But then you're inside the barrier, and you don't worry about crossing back, because if they kill any of the ships, it'll close this, but it's fine. You just go in until you get Ogonite. You have to find, like, an equipment dock, because there are factions on the outer edge of the... Like, once you get across the barrier, there's, like, the outer edge, and then there's, like, the center. So if you're in the outer edge of the barrier, there's sectors inside of there that, or factions inside of there that will have equipment docks. So you just find an equipment dock, you get an Ogonite level mining laser, and a little bit of Ogonite using a Xanian laser, or you just buy Ogonite to build a turret base, whatever, and you mine like literally 50 Avorion, and you put just that 50 Avorion as a hyperspace core anywhere on your ship, and then you'll be able to warp across rifts. So that is always my strategy. First thing I do when I cross barriers, do that. Since I found this so quickly, it actually is going to speed up this playthrough quite a bit, because normally it takes me a while to find the correct sector. Basically what you look for is one of the yellow dots right on the edge of the barrier, just like this. That's the only sectors it could potentially spawn in, but just because there is a yellow dot on the edge doesn't mean it actually has the barrier asteroids inside of it. So it does take a little bit of time, and you gotta get lucky a little bit. So we got lucky. This mission kind of is sucking, though, because there is, like, so many rifts, or there are so many rifts in the way of where we're trying to go. Like, oh my god. Because you can't go through the normal factions. Like, you can't really use the warp gates. I mean, maybe you can if you avoid the corvettes or are willing to risk the faction rep, but if you're not, like, you have to go all the way around and come back through. Like, that's a crazy long journey, honestly. I mean, I guess you're getting the warp upgrade out of it, so it kind of makes sense you'd have to warp a lot, but that's what we're trying to do. It kind of sucks because it takes a while, and it isn't super interesting because we're doing the same thing over and over again. But anyway, after we deliver these goods, I'm going to go to an equipment dock again, or a sector with a shipyard. So I'm just looking around here. I think there is, yeah, this one has equipment dock shipyard. So we're going to go into this sector after. We're going to check their systems for one thing, and then for another thing, we're going to go inside here, and we're probably going to build a scout ship, or we're going to build another ship of some sort. Just so we can expand a little bit. And really, I do want to build another mining ship, because I've got a couple of Xanian lasers. Now, I don't have Xanian R miners, but that's okay. I can just use the regular Xanian lasers for now, but that ship will be able to mine everything up to the up to the barrier, so I'm not going to be too worried about it. It'll just be a good mining ship, and the efficiency's decent on it, I guess. So let's see, where did that one take us? That actually did take us out quite a bit, because this is like Neonite area. So to Trinium, cool. And we're going to go back through because I don't actually want to be out here. When I do encounter wormholes, I always try to go through them just so I can see where they come out, so I can notate the sectors. And then I just notate a little bit on the sector here with a private note, just telling me where the wormhole goes. That way I can utilize them to travel. Because even when you do have a really good Avorion warp drive and you've got all this cooldown and range and all that kind of stuff, it's nice to take a wormhole sometimes because they can jump you like hundreds of sectors in one go. And you don't have, like, it's better usually. But anyway, we're going to continue warping over to this sector to finish our delivery. I'll come back in once we encounter something else. Or actually, let me do this. We're going to do this. So, if you haven't caught some of my other live streams, we have done some beat making live streams, but I do have a couple of beats that we've produced live on the channel. So, I want to play my favorite one out of the two for you. It's not on SoundCloud, so unreleased music, wink wink. And Yeah, anyway, so that is my favorite of the two beats that we made live on stream. Um, yeah, so I hope you liked it. If so, awesome. I'll probably add it to SoundCloud at some point. I don't know when, but yeah, not a big deal. So we'll go back to the other stuff. We're almost to the sector actually, so I'm getting pretty excited to be done with this mission. Alright, so we just got duped by Boltan. That's the start of the next part of getting the Xsotan Artifact, which is Enemy of My Enemy. So we have to fly and meet this homie wherever the fuck he is. It's probably up here somewhere, or out here. Is this him? Yeah, he's all the way out here. So that's the next sector we have to go to continue getting the artifact. I'm going to warp into the equipment dock first, and I'm going to check it at the very least, and we might set up another ship while we're here. An auto miner, well, just real quick, because it won't take that long since we have the templates built already. But let's go over here, and we'll do that. Now, granted, I think this is... Which one is this? My Xantrin? So there is Xanian out here, okay. I don't know. Maybe we won't build a ship here since we already have one kind of in this area. It'd be better to build it down here because there will be a lot more Xanian, I think, which is what I'm after because we're getting a decent amount of Trinium and Neonite, but we're not getting a whole lot of Xanian. I also do have Titanium R mining laser, so when the lady runs out and is idle again, if I go to my fleet, when this one is idle again, I'm going to go back over there and I'm going to build another ship up there as well, just because I think it's going to be worthwhile. That one's not very good because it doesn't have the cooldown that we're looking for, so not very good systems this time, unfortunately. Turrets, they do have an R mining turret, but we can't afford it unless we sell some stuff. So anti-fighter, I'm not going to use that, most likely. What else might I not use? Mark III upgrade? Yeah, probably not. I have a blue one now. That didn't give us very much money, though. And that's all of our sellables. Shit. Well, I'd like to buy this R mining turret so we could have a second R mining laser that's Trinium tier. Then I could make an R miner in the Xanian region, which would be really good. But we need a few 100k more. I mean, I really do want to keep this Ogonite. Like, I'd love to keep this Ogonite system, but it might be worth selling it so we can get this. I could do this cannon turret. How much is the turret? 403. So selling the cannon is 240. It won't give us quite enough. We need like 300k or more from one sell. This is going to make me cry, but we're going to do it. We need this turret, so we're buying it. Alright. Alright. It's done. And I am going to put this on my ship for now, because it actually has a cargo bay to be able to store the R mining goods. So there's that. And we have enough slots we can put the other salvaging laser on. Alright. So that was quite costly, honestly, but that's okay. I'm good with that. Not a problem. We'll just, yeah, deal with that as it is. We could build the ship here, I suppose, and then just warp it down somewhere different. So maybe let's just do that. I want to build another mining ship now that we've got some lasers and such. Let's fly over a little bit. Found a ship, and this is going to be our... We're just going to make this a Xanian Trinium miner. And templates... let's see... I think it might be in our autosaves. I really should move it into a different folder than this, but I haven't yet, so... Oh, we also... Hopefully we have enough money to actually be able to build this ship. I didn't even think about that. Not quite. Shit. We need like 5k. Okay. Here. Swap back to our main ship. We'll sell that one and that one. Okay. I think we have the 106k now. Yeah, just barely. We'll have like 1,000 credits left over. which is not great, but we'll deal with it. Okay. Apply template. Build, though, because this one doesn't really need torpedoes, in all honesty. Like, it shouldn't need that in order to be good enough. But let's grab... Well, first, let's put in a mining system. I guess I might as well install that permanently. Unarmed, install permanently. And then it does need some armed turret capacity, so it doesn't get shot out of the sky. But let's go off a DPS first and fill up our armed turret. So we've got 5 arm slots, double Tesla. And that's it, actually. Okay. It did get it to orange, though, so that should be fine. I'm just going to move this over a little bit so it's not, like, crowding quite as much. Or actually, let me replace both of these. There we go. Okay, so that's good. Now we're going to go material, mining. And this one is going to use our just regular old Xanian lasers. Now I do need to expand our deck, or platform to place turrets on, so I'll just place another one of these down here, and we'll put the mining lasers on the bottom. So there's 1, 2, and I doubt it'll be able to fit that one. Yeah, that's a 4 slot, so cool, good enough. Now we need to get some crew. Interact, hire crew. Well, let me actually do this. Transfer crew and cargo. I know I'm gonna need a captain. On the rest of this stuff, what do I actually need? 10, 20, 8, 30. I need 30 crew. Oh, right. Forgot. This one doesn't have a transporter on it. Okay, miners I need 4 of. I can't afford them. Fuck. Okay. Swap to this ship. We'll sell something else. That should be enough to get all the crew, I would think. And then 12 more. Gotta group the turrets. Cool. And last but not least, we're gonna enter back into our main ship because that ship is basically set up. We'll automate it from the map view instead. Whoops. Sorry, friends. I didn't mean to crash you. Your station's just not great. Okay, let's go to the map view. Let's automate this guy. So, Xantrin Miner 2. There's quite a bit in there, actually. So we'll have a mine there. Then it'll go to this one. Mine some more. Go to this one. Mine some more. Okay, good enough for now. The rest of our crew, all of them are mining. Awesome. So we did what we needed to do. We need to get some money relatively quickly, actually. And what I'm going to do for that, I should just go to the resource depot and sell a little bit of the either trinium or neonite that I have excess of. And it'll kind of cover us pretty well. So I'm going to do that real quick. Oh, shit. I didn't realize he was a mobile. Sorry, dude. Is he buying anything for really good? No, not really. Go to the regular one. Because I think we'll get a better deal over here. And then I guess I can start working out towards the enemy in my enemy sector, just because I do want to get the parts list so I can get the stuff to build that system so I can fight Boltan. Nothing to refine, but we can trade. What we're going to do is we're going to sell 138,000 trinium, and that gives us like 1,000,000 credits, so we can afford to pay all the passages through the gates for our small ships, and the crew costs and all that stuff, because if you don't have money to pay the crews, they'll strike and like you can lose your ship and everything, which isn't good. So let's see, we are headed up this direction. But anyway, yeah, so there we go. We got our 4th mining ship automated. Pretty much, like, it's still going to the sector, so it hasn't started mining yet, but it is automated to mine for us. So once it gets to location, we should start getting more Xanian, Trinium, and Neonite in. I mean, realistically, we'll get more of all the resources because all the resources spawn in the asteroids close to the barrier, but we'll primarily get Trinium and Xanian and Neonite, I think. But anyhow, it'll be good. I'm going to go back to the music, but yeah. So I'm switching over to this ship real quick. Not only because it's done mining everything that it's found, but also because I want to, well, A, I need to add like an actual turret to this so it doesn't get shot out of the fucking sky. Let's do that. Or, well, that looks ugly. And then I can just put like a regular DPS turret on this. It's only got one arm slot. That should be more than enough DPS for out here. Okay, so this ship is fine. What I'm going to do is I am going to find another captain real quick. Maybe at the shipyard. Equipment dock? Who's got a captain for me? Because I'm going to build our mining auto miner out in this sector as well. That's basically what I'm going to do. Okay, so there isn't one in this sector. Shit. Alright, well, we'll go to a different one. Maybe this one has some captains for us. Not a big deal. But once I start building the other ship and put a captain on it, I'm going to tell this ship to go scout a bunch of sectors real quick. That way, we have some areas to put this ship and the other one, so we're still getting more titanium and iron, because I do want to have a big stockpile of both of those resources. But it'll take a minute, and yeah, I could be more efficient, and what I can do is come down here to this guy, the Lone Star, and I can automate him to move down like this, and then start going across. Now, it is a little risky doing that, just because if he encounters enemies, like, he might get killed, but this guy has a captain over here, so we'll fly over to this sector, or this station. It'll take us a minute because this ship is not very good, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. But we are going to build a second one. And as far as the template for that ship, I mean, we could just copy this ship, honestly, and it would be good enough. Because obviously, like, it's not being targeted by anything right now. So we could do that. Or I could, like, I think I have just a basic tier mining ship that I can put out here. And since it is an R mining ship that we're going to be setting up, it does need to have a cargo bay. So actually it will be a little bit more pricey than like a normal iron titanium mining ship would be, just because normally I don't build cargo bays on ships until I get out to the tritium sector, so the ship is a little bit bigger to support the cargo bay primarily. But we'll take a look and see which one we're going to use once we get over here, because I do need a captain to put on that ship, plus the other crew. So I think this Tesla coil factory, yeah, it's got 40 regular dudes. And yeah, it's better to kind of use the specialized guys for sure, but honestly, this is just a basic automated ship, so I'm not too worried about it. Using just the basic guys to fill all the crew slots is good enough, usually. Let's see. How is Lone Star doing? Still waiting to jump, okay. I forget, well, I mean, it does have a long warp cooldown, I suppose, so whatever. But we are getting resources a bit faster now that we have that fourth ship set up. Once we set up this fifth ship, iron and titanium will kind of balance out with the rest of the resources. And then really what we need to do is add a Xanian R mining ship as well. But okay, so we're close to the dock. I don't actually need this ship docked. I'm going to need the ship we're going to build docked. So we're going to exit out. Fly over here real quick. And this is going to be Iron Titan R miner number 1. Go into build. We're going to hit templates. And this one I actually might have in the main folder. So iron, yeah, so this is my typical iron tier ore mining ship. It has a lot of titanium. Let's just apply it real quick. Oh, it has to be in a fuck me. It needs to be in a shipyard. God damn it. Okay. Can I build this one? Yeah, I probably can. We'll go over to the shipyard then. Okay. That's fine. Well, since we're flying this ship, I can automate the other one to go scout sectors while we're doing this. It's not a big deal. Let this load in. Then we'll go to the map, and we'll tell the lady to go there, then go there, then go there, then there, and just go scout a bunch of stuff. So this is the one. We're going to apply it. Oh, I don't have the resources to apply that. Shit. Okay. Basic ore miner. This one I don't have the Xanian for, but can I downgrade that to Trinium? Or like Neonite? Okay, so I built this out of Neonite instead of Xanian, which should be more than enough for this region of space, I would think. How is the crew cost on this? It does take a lot of fucking engineers. It's probably because of the cargo bay. How much cargo space does this have? 1,700. And what we can do actually to lower the cost even further is we can make these titanium. So if we go into modify entire, just take it down to titanium. Cost even less. So this does have shields, which we don't really need. Okay, that's fine. Or actually, I do want that turret to stay. There we go. Okay. Janky as shit, but it'll get the job done, I think. What we can do just to buff it a little bit. Okay, that's a little better. And these are titaniums. What I can do on that, I'm just going to upgrade them to neonites. Just in case, or actually, I should just make these Xanian. Or I'll make the front one Xanian, I'll make the back two Neonite. That way I can put all the turrets that I might have or want to use with this ship. Now, yes, this is a super ugly ship, and I 100% get that. But it will be capable of gathering resources for us and using our mining lasers. So on this, if I go mining, these two titanium ore mining turrets is what I want. So I'm going to put one there. Actually, how big are these? 3 slots each, so it needs 6. Uh, 5. And then 6. Cool. And I could put this cargo hold upgrade on it as well. On this, we'll install permanently this mining upgrade, so it'll be able to see everything. And crew cost, not terrible. It's still quite a bit of crew, all things considered, but you know what? We'll deal with that. So this guy doesn't have that much crew. What about this one? He has a little more. So if I hit up most of these areas, we might be able to find what we're looking for. Yeah, this is the downside of not being right next to a station when you build your ship, because you don't have enough crew to actually fly at normal speed, so it'll take you a while to get over to whatever station. But once we get over here, we can put in just a few pieces of crew, and that will alleviate that a little bit. In the meantime, Our Lady is kind of exploring this stuff and getting us more areas that we might be able to mine some iron and titanium with this ship. Now, this ship does have a Neonite level system permanently installed, so it can see up to trinium level asteroids. Realistically, I should look here and see, do they have... Yeah, they do have a white level, so I'll maybe buy this, because it's not really worth having this system inside of here. Oh, I thought you could remove those if you were in a system with the equipment dock or shipyard. Apparently not. Well, that was stupid. I just deleted a system for no reason. But that's okay. If I would have, maybe you have to be docked with an equipment dock in order to remove those safely. Or they changed it. Whatever. You used to be able to remove them safely if you were in the sector. But that's alright. Once we'll put the white system inside, it'll use a lot less power to run that as well. So since this is kind of a, basic ship, it really can't support good systems. So there's that. I don't think there's anything else I really want out of here. Nope, not really. So let's go ahead and install this one permanently instead. And there we go. While we're here, we're going to hire some crew. So we're going to take all 15 of those guys. I'm going to take the 6 of those. We're going to take... We probably will need all 6 of these. Gunners, we'll take 3. And then this, we'll take all 34 so we can kind of staff the rest. So what we can do here is we can put 1 as a lieutenant so our stuff doesn't quit on us, and we'll take 16 as engineers. We'll actually put 17, and then we'll fill out that, and you know what, we'll just put the rest in here. Not a big deal. If we go to one other station, we should be able to get the rest of the crew we need for the ship, and that'll be good. And then hopefully by then, the lady will have found us some good sectors to go and, do stuff with. Go up here. But that's kind of the best way to scout stuff, is if you have a ship with a captain on it, you just automate it and tell it to warp through a bunch of sectors. And you'll find out what's nearby, so you can do a little, like maybe you're looking for something in particular to send the next ship. Like in our case, it's a really good way to make that happen. Now this ship is ugly as hell, but it is very maneuverable. So like for an automated mining ship, this is a really good ship design. As far as functionality is concerned. Aesthetically speaking, it's a terrible design, but I don't necessarily go for aesthetics typically on my ships. I just go, is it gonna do what I need it to do? As far as functionality is concerned, if the answer to that question is yes, it's good. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Let's buy 14 of those. And there we go. We've got our crew taken care of. Perfect. Now we do need to put our turrets on this, our non-combat turrets, so our trinium R miners. 1 and 2. And then we've got 2 more spots, technically, but it's not really worth putting those turrets anywhere else, so 2 and 2. And then the only thing we're missing is a captain. So I'm going to check each station real quick, just to make sure there isn't a captain in here. but I don't think that, or there wasn't when we looked before building the ship, so there probably won't be, and that's alright. We'll just go to the next sector over. But that's the fastest way to do this. So basically you hit F9, you just click on the station, then you can hit F as if you're talking to it, because it does select it for you. Now I know that there's a guy down here, so we'll go over there. This has a ton of fucking asteroids in it. That's a good sector. So we can put one of them in there. We'll probably leave the one that is up there, over there, is my guess, but... Options. We have options. Warp over. Oh, nice. That's awesome. You have 4 million credits worth of automated traders. That's amazing. I've always kind of struggled doing the automated traders. Like, I haven't looked at it super close because does having, like, the trading system allow you to set, like, limits on how much profit loss or, like, how much you're spending? Because I actually don't know. Ten ships, soldiers, miners, salvagers, 3 stations already. That's fantastic, Dr. Dot. I'm getting ready to get my first station up. Like, I've got 4 auto miners right now. This is going to be our 5th one. Then I've got my mothership, so 6 ships in total. I'm going to start building stations, but I want to go out and get some raiding started first, just so I can get enough credits to be able to build a gold and platinum mine, and I'll probably build 3 or 4 of them. I also need to find a global economy overview trading system. That way I can see the demand of stuff in the region, so I'm not wasting my credits building whatever mine it is, you know what I'm saying? But no problem. I'm going to do that eventually. I'm also working on getting the Boltan smuggler artifact because I kind of want it. Let's see. Super annoying when it does this. It's like, yeah, of course it's not loaded into memory. It's a new sector. The point is I want you to load it to memory. That's why I'm telling you to warp there. Now this is kind of dangerous-ish. I mean, this ship is fairly strong, so it's not that dangerous, but if it encounters pirates, it could get wrecked. So, anyway. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. So basically, you have a scout ship that detects the trades, and then you have a second ship that actually does the trades because it has the cargo base. That's awesome. How do you have it so it tracks 8 trades? Is it just stacking multiple trading systems, or? It's a red trading? Oh, okay, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, at my like, if I was actually, like, if this was my actual type of ship, selling asteroids would kind of be the best way for me to make credits. You're right on that. And it is still a pretty good way for me to make credits because I have so few of them. But my main mothership does have enough Omicron to raid the outer faction. So, like, I just need to fly it out to an outer edge faction and destroy a bunch of, like, Tesla coil factories and sell it to the smugglers. And I'll be able to make, like, 10 million credits in 15 minutes or so. It does not take long. And that's how I plan on making the credits to start building stations and stuff like that, because it's typically what I do at this stage. But you're right. Like, trading is really fun, too. I do enjoy trading. I just haven't found a good system for it yet, so I haven't been able to dive into that And I've been kind of spending my credits haphazardly on systems and turrets, which is kind of a waste of money because you will get them eventually, but whatever. And also just building ships, but I do want to get stations set up. It's always a good idea. The earlier you get one set up, the better it is because it generates over time. Oh, okay. Yeah. You're playing on veteran. Bugs near the core are tough. That makes sense. I mean, I'm playing on expert, but I just avoid fights. Like it's not, if you build your ship fast enough, it's not too difficult to avoid fights. Yeah. If you can fly faster than like 3,000 meters per second, you can escape literally any ship in the game. Or at least it used to be that way. Now I haven't tested that on expert mode past the barrier yet, but yeah, like basically you just make sure that your ship has 3,000 meters a second if you're boosting and you're good. You tried expert and ripped, yeah. I did a veteran play, like this is my third playthrough of the game. So I played through pretty much all the way on normal, pretty much all the way through on veteran. So I thought since I got the DLC, I would go ahead and try it on expert. Yeah, I have died once. So my ship did get destroyed one time already, which really sucked because it took me, like, it was right as I got to the barrier. You couldn't jump without getting killed. Yeah, it does kind of depend a little bit. I think I got pretty lucky on my seed, all things considered, because my starting sector was really good. It had a lot of titanium asteroids in it, and like I've already found the asteroid crossing place. Like literally the first sector I checked next to the barrier was the barrier crossing sector with the asteroids in it, so it's a pretty good seed. Just throw in Lone Debater 7 on your Galaxy seed, and you'll have the exact same map layout as me. So if you want to try expert again and have like a decent seed to play with, where you start in a friendly faction, you have titanium right away, you have asteroids to sell right away, and the factions nearby aren't mad, that seed might help you out a little bit. But yeah, the difficulties do make a difference. Like, I am curious to see how strong like Swax is going to be and stuff like that on expert, because supposedly the ships are the same level as you on expert. I don't know though. I haven't done a whole lot of combat yet, just because I try to avoid it as much as possible, because it's not worth spending the resources to repair your ships at this point in the game, in my opinion. AI will take you 30 minutes, yeah. It is what it is, though. Like, Rusty's Galaxy server. I haven't. So I was trying to find a good multiplayer server to live stream. The issue I was encountering is most of the good multiplayer servers are like based out of Germany, and I don't speak German well enough to play on those, I feel like. And granted, I know that Germans are different than Americans. They actually like a large portion of them speak multiple languages, and they may speak English, and I'll be okay. But yeah, I haven't really looked at the multiplayer side of it. Oh, they have an English server also. Oh, okay, cool. I'll have to take a look at it. Is the lag super terrible? Because I've heard multiplayer is like terribly laggy, and like if there's more than 2 people on at a time, you might as well not play. It is laggy, yeah. So like I want to try to get my own server, dedicated server, set up to play on. But I haven't really worked on that too much, and it'll be later, at a later point in time. But anyhow, not a big deal. So there are pirates here. I could go fight them and get 100k, but that's okay. I'm not worried about it. I'm more interested in scouting out a bunch of asteroid sectors, so I have some places to put these ships. Let it load in first, I guess. But it's fine. Like, I don't actually need to do this. I could switch over to my main ship if I really wanted to and do all this automatically, since both of these ships have a captain on them. I'm just trying to... I don't know. I didn't want to wait the time for it to load my other ship back in. So just do this. Okay. Let's see. 500 in this one. Is there anything actually close by? No? Okay. So I am going to switch back to my main ship. Because it's reached its destination, A. And then B, I can actually automate my miners now. So cool. This guy is ready to go. Let's just talk to this dude real fast. Okay, cool. So that is just the Boltan mission. Pretty basic. So track untrack will give you the parts list over on the side. So I need to find all those parts, come back to this sector, and we can build some cool shit. But let's go up here. And the lady is still working on transporting. This guy needs to mine. Then he's going to go here. Here. He's going to mine again. He's going to go here. And here to refine. And then none of these are all that good, huh? Okay. I guess he could go up here. Mine. Go back. Okay, fine. We'll just do that for now. And then on the lady, which I should automate as well, which is up here. There's 600 in this sector, so we'll have her go here. Then give that a second to load. Oh, yeah. The turret factory updates are pretty cool. I'm excited to build turret factories. Like, I do plan on doing it before the next set. Neater than yours? BS. My ships are ugly. They're just not super boxy because I tried to make the shape a little bit more interesting, but I appreciate that. But, yeah, I know my ships are ugly. It's just something I deal with, I guess. Okay, what just happened here? So, like, mine and chain command. So, no. I want you to mine. Oh, I'm pushing caps lock. It would help if I push the right fucking key. Okay, there we go. You mine those three. This guy will mine the other three. We'll call it good for now. But thank you. I do appreciate the compliment. This one is probably going to end up getting turned into a space station design when I set up a home sector. But that's fine. In the meantime, it does work. I could, if it is too big to go through warp gates, though. So I need to, like, shrink the sides in a little bit. Which I could do because basically all the stuff on the sides and those little booms are just thrusters. So they don't have to be right there. I just put them there for fun. But okay. So we're up here. I'm going to just go out to... We're going to go this direction. And we're going to go find some factions to raid. Because I'm ready to get some dollars up in here. So we can get some stations built. Yeah, I haven't bought any of the bosses or mission. I haven't done any yet either. Like, this is the first one I decided to do because I want the, whatchamacallit, the warp core artifact. Like, I want that one first because it's the best in my opinion. Or it's my favorite one, I should say. Especially for this kind of ship where it's fucking massive. Getting that extra 50% hyperspace cooldown is going to be nice. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked for that. Yeah, that's true. Like, all of them are really good. The one from the AI is pretty good if you're going to build, like, a mining carrier. because it removes the need for pilots, which is awesome, and miners and gunners, so you can use that one for like a strike carrier if you're using combat fighters, or a mining slash salvage carrier if you're using mining or salvaging fighters, which is pretty cool. But you won't have to use any crew realistically, or a very little crew, compared to like if you have 100 fighters, for example, you need 100 crew worth of pilots in order to fly them. Well, if you have the AI upgrade, that saves you 100 crew, which is pretty awesome. So anyhow, that one's pretty good. I like the armed and unarmed are pretty good as well. The multi one that does like the speed and shield and stuff like that, I think it can be good if you're building like an all-around ship, but I rarely use that one outside of just opening up the barrier. Anyway. Yeah, the Avorion wiki is great, especially for finding bosses and stuff like that. Yeah, especially the first time I played through, or the first few times, like every once in a while, like if you're unsure about something, the wiki is a great place to go look. I'm really excited to get across the barrier and to start, like, for two reasons. One, I want to get some Avorion so I can warp across rifts. It's just a quality of life type thing. And then number two, since I have the Black Market DLC, supposedly there's like convoys, and a lot of that DLC opens up once you get across the barrier. So I'm excited to kind of try that stuff out. But we're still a little ways off on that. I still have to do Project Exodus, which takes fucking forever. But I normally get the Xsotan Artifact first, just because having the warp cooldown will increase your speed on getting every other artifact substantially, just because it's half as much time for every single sector jump that you have to do manually with your ship. Yeah, exactly. You know, I know it's boring as shit to watch me warp around. Like, I doubt I will live stream Project Exodus. Like, it will be done off camera, and randomly when we come back on another stream, I'll just have that artifact, and I'll be like, yeah, I did this off camera because it took me 2 hours to fucking warp there because of the way that mission is. But all the boss fights and stuff, we'll do that all live, because normally when I fight bosses, and this is, you know, both on my normal playthrough and my veteran playthrough, I end up, like, being so overpowered by the time I actually get to doing them and, like, fighting them that I defeat them in, like, 30 seconds. So it'll be fun. Map automation, it's not as boring. What do you mean? Like, what did they change on map automation? Like, the spawning, you mean? Oh, on Exodus? Yeah, that's true. It's just, it takes a really long time because of all the warps, typically. Because usually around the time I decide I'm ready to deal with the frustration and aggravation of doing that mission, my ship's pretty good size, so the warp cooldown, even if you have good systems, takes a while. And then if it doesn't take a while, what ends up happening is you need to, like, it won't, like, calculate the jump route or whatever. We're going to go through this wormhole, though, because it looks like it's going to take us out to the edge. Oh, yeah, to control them on the map. That's true. It is fairly recent. I started playing... It was before it went full release for sure, but it wasn't super early in beta. I'm pretty sure when I got the game, it did have, like, the map control stuff built in already. It wasn't set up like this. You had to, like, go over the sector. It would highlight the sector the ship was in, but you had to go in and, like, grab the ship from the sector type of a thing, so it was a little bit more cumbersome. But yeah, I really like this layout though. It makes it a lot easier. Now, let's hope that this first yellow sector we jump into is going to have a smuggler's outpost. Fingers crossed. That way we can just immediately start raiding factions and not have to warp around for a minute to find a place to sell our ill-gotten gains. I am into robotics. Yes, I very much am. I'm actually pretty close to having an electronics engineering major finished up, or bachelor's degree finished up. So, like, I am familiar with, like, circuit design, schematic design. I know a little bit about modeling. I'm not very good at it, but I know about it. I've done some, like, joint projects with NASA and stuff like that, so I'm super into space in general, and a big part of space is robotics. So yeah, I think robotics is really cool. I really like automation as well. I think it's very much going to be the way of the future. So yeah, it's super interesting to me. What about you? Fun stuff. Have you taken any calculus yet? Rectifiers. Rectifiers are super cool. Filtering's pretty cool. Op amps and all that kind of stuff. Love it. Like I think the coolest op amp circuit I've designed up to this. Well, there's a couple of them that are pretty cool, but the one that I've designed most recently that I think is pretty cool. I built a 16-bit DAC converter circuit, which is pretty cool, or binary weighted DAC, which is pretty sweet. Give me a sec. I might be able to pull up the schematic for it actually. Once this loads, because Avorion, gotta love it. So there are some Pyritos in here, but that's fine. We should be able to wreck those guys. I'm not going to claim this asteroid, actually. You know what? That's not worth it. I'm going to wait until I have enough credits to turn these into mines, because it doesn't actually matter how deep your mines are to generate money. Still in diodes, but I have other courses where you've learned opt amps. Okay, yeah. Diodes are pretty useful, too. They're an interesting component. I really like oscillators, are pretty cool. Fusion 360. I haven't actually used that before. What is that usually? Is that like a VDHL type thing, or what type of software is it? Oh, it's a Eagle CAD integrated. Okay, that's pretty sweet. So it's like CAD mixed with the circuit design type thing, or is it just like a CAD but it has like some pretty useful presets for circuit stuff. For making PCBs. Okay, cool. Yeah. The one they taught us how to use is Cordis Prime. So I do know how to use Cordis Prime and code in VDHL and stuff like that. And then I've got Multisim as well. So I think you can use either one of those schematic softwares to do PCBs as well. The VDH, like Cordis Prime, coding in VDHL is like super satisfying. I hate Cordis Prime though. Like that software is janky as shit. Like Microsoft needs to up their game on that, in my opinion. Like literally that software sucks to work with though. Like you open up Cordis Prime and you would think I think that they helped develop. I don't know if it's from Microsoft or not. I want to say that it is. Whoever makes it, though, Cordis Prime, it's a great software. You can do a lot of really cool things with it. It's just, like, actually using it as a ball ache. Every single time I've tried to open it up and, like, open a new file once I launch the software, it will crash. Literally every single time. And you won't be able to open up the project. The only way you can use it is you have to have a project file that you've downloaded from somewhere, open up that file, delete out everything, then you can like start from scratch. It's the most cumbersome thing that I don't understand why it is like that, but it is. And I am pretty sure it's not my computer, because my computer's fine with like Multisim and other CAD softwares, which are way more resource intensive than the VDHL, but yeah. Oh, it's by Intel. Yeah, it's probably just a bug type thing, and if you can deal with the bugs, fantastic software for doing really cool stuff, especially with digital logic and everything like that. I finished doing an Arduino microprocessor microcontroller class. That was really interesting to learn about like sensor automation and analog to digital converters on like chips, like ICs and stuff like that. So I have some experience with that, breadboarding, that kind of bullshit, but it's interesting, like for sure. Like you can do some really cool stuff. Something that I want to try to do, since I have the schematic of a 16-bit binary weighted DAC, like I could easily build that in conjunction with an Arduino or other microprocessor, assuming it runs on C programming language, because that's the type of programming language I know how to use with microprocessors. But I could do that, and I could probably build that converter circuit with an Arduino board, which would be pretty cool, because it's basically, I can expand it to as have 16-bit or 32 times 16-bit or whatever. Yeah, ESP32. Yeah, it's pretty powerful. You're learning it now, but in Linux with Gata, Lattice demo board, can't do anything yet. Yeah, Linux. The only experience I have working with Linux, I guess unless you count like the Arduino programming language is a Linux-based operating system. The only experience I have with Linux is crypto mining. So like I have a crypto miner rig that runs on Linux. So I have that kind of experience with Linux. But as far as like using it for automation or anything like that, nah, I don't typically mess with Linux because I don't know enough about it to like. I'm sure it's just a thing of like learning more about it, but yeah, we did find a stash, so that is good. But yeah, Linux scares me because it just seems overwhelming. Come on, are we not? How are we like not close enough right now? Cool. Got a few credits anyway. Come on. There we go. Alright. I'm hoping I get a smuggler outpost soon. That's what I really want, but it's fine. Anyway. It is regex 44. You're 44, and you've known them for 20 years. Still have to go see how to do anything to the reference. Is that like something in Linux? Like I apologize. Like I don't know what that is. Bash regular expressions are so okay. Yeah. Like Linux should be easy if because I do know how to program in like 4 or 5 different languages. So it should be easy for me to understand and learn because Linux is basically like DOS based operating system type stuff. That's why it runs lighter. So it is more like a programming language in that sense how you interact with it. But yeah, screw that. I don't want to have to like think in functions and programs and all this BS in order to use my computer. So like for me, yeah, it has barriers indeed. Like if you can overcome them, you can do some really awesome stuff with it for sure. But for me personally, like I'm content just running my Windows PC because I know how to do everything that I want to do on it, and it's not cumbersome for me to do it. Granted, I'm sure if I started out with a Linux computer, it'd probably be the same thing, only with Linux instead of Windows. So I think it's just whatever you get used to. But yeah, I've heard though that Linux can be overwhelming and like difficult to work with. Yeah, exactly. Like the thing with Linux is if you do anything wrong, you'll mess up your operating system, and you have like, and that terrifies me. Yeah, that's true as well. Like I've noticed, so like on my mining rig, when they have an update for the OS, if it's already working, I don't install the update because it's not worth running the risk that it'll mess up my overclocks and everything like that. Um, but yeah, I've definitely had where I put on an update on that and it messes up everything and it sucks. Granted, it's pretty easy to downgrade, I guess, but still. Um, oh, virtual machines with Linux. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Like, I mean, the rig that I have, it's not like it has its own monitor or anything. I literally remote into it. That's the only way I control it now. Like, I had to plug it into a keyboard, I think, to do some stuff with the BIOS initially, but outside of that, it's like I don't ever need to actually access the machine. Oh yeah, definitely. Like one of my best friends in high school, they were like that with Linux. Literally, they hated Windows because they got really good at using Linux, so they couldn't do the same thing in Windows that they could in Linux. But they were always like, "Oh yeah, you should totally use Linux. It's way better, so much nicer." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know about that," but so there's totally Linux fanboys out there. Just like with all of them, like there just like there's Mac OS fanboys. I'm not one of those people, but anyway. Yeah, I mean it is. Well, the idea I base this on like physics. You know what I'm saying? So like this design is, from a physics standpoint, fairly effective at utilizing thrust with small thrusters. So like if I open up the build, literally these arms right here are nothing. They're like a tiny little thing with a bunch of thrusters on the end. So since all of my main blocks are in the center, our center of mass is right here, and these are farther away from the center of mass, so it will provide a more impact. It's going to be more impactful. Um, Yeah, Macs are expensive. That's my thing with it. Like, I feel I could build a way better Windows PC if I spent the amount of money it would cost to buy a stock Mac. So, yeah, that's my only issue with them. But they are really good. And they're, like, once you... Since I don't use them, I don't know the operating system very well. So it would take me a little bit to figure out what I wanted to do. But anyway, a Chromebook, huh? I don't know about Chromebook. The only thing I see with those is that there's not a lot of software that's going to be compatible with them, right? So like you can only use Chrome apps, which is kind of disappointing because you're kind of limited. Granted, Google Chrome does have a fair amount of, or like Google does have a fair amount of apps built through Chrome at this point. But even so, like if you wanted to run like a game or something, you wouldn't be able to on a Chromebook at all. Like, granted, if you had a similar type of laptop, the game would run really badly, but you'd be able to run it. That's my only thing with those. But they are really nice. It depends on what you're going to use it for. For, like, writing papers and stuff, I think it would be pretty good. Yeah, exactly. So if you have a desktop computer already, it's not as big of a deal on that. For me, the reason why I would get a laptop is so I could do school on it, and since I need like multi-sim and that kind of stuff, I kind of need it to be a Windows computer so it can have the software installed on it. But yeah, gaming on laps, yeah, I'm not really into that either. Like there are some that sound like they'd be really amazing. You know, they have better graphics cards and more RAM and shit than my gaming PC that I built because it was built a while ago. But even so, I feel like, you know, you spend $1,200 on a laptop, you could have spent that and built a really good computer instead, if that's what you're trying to do with the equipment, I guess. If it's so, it does depend on the use, but anyway. Yeah, I get that. Like, um, for me, I just finished all my finals yesterday, so I have a like week off before my next term starts. So I plan on playing up some Avorion in the meantime because I want to get to the DLC stuff, and it's going to take me a while, just as far as time is concerned, to do that. Um, but awesome. Well, I'm glad that it's entertaining enough for you to be able to watch and then study at the same time. I do the same thing all the time. But yeah, spring break. I guess it's kind of like spring break. It's around that time. Um, so I'm pretty excited about that. I was ready for a break after this term. The op-amp class, like, it was super interesting, and I'm happy for all the difficulty and the challenges that were associated with it, but oh my god, I'm so glad it's over. If I have to do another op-amp lab, I swear, like, I'm gonna lose my mind. Second semester yesterday. Well, awesome. Grats. Keep going strong. You'll get there. It takes time, but at the end, it'll be worth it. Um, yeah, I think I have like maybe 2 or 3 after this one, but this upcoming term, I've got Calc 2 and like a sociology class, so it should be a pretty easy term for me, all things considered, because I took AP Calculus BC, and yeah, I took AP Calculus BC in high school, and I passed with a 5. So like I know, like I'm, and I've taken Calculus 3 before. So I've taken a Calc 3 class before. So double variable limits, like it's going to be a lot of math work, but since I have a Gen Ed, great. 5 is top right. Yeah. But anyway, it is what it is. Oh, 5 is the max grade? Oh, okay. Yeah. It is. 5 is the max grade on the test. So yes, I did get the max grade on that, like most of the AP tests I took. But anyway, not a big deal. That's a long time ago. I mean, fuck, I haven't been in high school in a long time. But anyway, so I feel like I'm not going to be overwhelmed because the stuff I'm seeing, I've seen before. It's just going to be more like a refresher class for me. So I like math, and I really like calculus. So that class will be fun. The sociology class is going to be easy because it's a Gen Ed class. So whatever, I have to write a few papers, but I'm good at writing papers at this point. Been doing it for so long. So it's gonna be like, I'm excited for this term. It's gonna be kind of like a chiller term after last term was a little bit more intense. Management, fun stuff. I don't know. The business stuff can be interesting sometimes, like, and then other times it's not. So it does depend on what your interests are, though. Okay, I need to go back and tell this ship to go refine. Or there is one in here. Just do that for now. Oh, it's done. That's awesome. Kind of like it, but it's related to people. Yeah, I get that. 100% I get that. I mean, I used to be like a manager and a district trainer and stuff like that. So my people skills can be good. It's just I like systems and engineering way more. And most people, they don't know enough about it for you to be able to have the kind of conversation about it that I want to be able to have. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's hard to have stuff to talk about that isn't going to be like, okay, why are you talking about some random super obscure like system type thing when we were talking about like how it was 85 degrees today or something weird like that? You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. Like, you know, not a big deal. So I just normally don't talk about that stuff because then you don't have to worry about it. But it is nice, though, when you find someone that kind of shares that interest because you can talk about stuff that you're interested in and not feel weird for it. What I've been thinking about, just because we learned a little bit more, or I learned a little bit more about crystal oscillators the past couple terms, is I've been thinking about, well, what if instead of like a resistive load connected to the end of like an oscillator signal, you know, the output of an oscillator, what if you connected it to like an inductor and like stacked inductors as if it was like a transformer or something like that? Like like the magnetic field would vary based off of the oscillation frequency. So you'd have an oscillating magnetic field. And if you put that oscillating magnetic field next to a bundle of wires or like a coil of wires, would it generate like a measurable amount of current? Or like, what would the ratio of that be? And I'm sure there's a way to calculate it, and somebody probably already has, and I just haven't looked it up. But it's interesting to think about because, well, if it actually hasn't been done before and you can generate a current by doing that, an oscillator you can start with like just a biasing voltage, so you don't need a lot, so 12 volt DC, then you get an AC voltage signal out. But if you can generate an AC voltage signal through that inductor or inductive coil, you can you should be able to connect that AC voltage source back through into like a recharging system and like put it through a couple step up transformers so it has enough voltage, charge a couple and like put it through some capacitive stages, whatever, just to increase the amount of like wattage of the power supply. So the more capacitors you charge, the more the wattage is going to be, type of a deal. And yeah, you might be able to like recharge the voltage enough to start the oscillating signal, and then once the oscillating signal is started, you just pass through the AC volt, like you'll be able to run it indefinitely, type of a deal. But I don't know if it would actually work like that or not, but interesting to think about. What is that? I don't know what that means, sorry. Yeah, it probably would eventually get losses. That's true. Um, it still could be pretty cool to think, like, to build though, um, or to play with. Oh, Lavoisier said that it would eventually get losses. Okay. Well, what if you used a superconducting wire so there's no internal resistance that would dissipate as heat? Because supposedly they... Oh, in nature, yeah. Well, I was reading, I think there is like a room temp superconductor. It's not like a super stable material, so they don't have the ability to produce it in like mass quantities quite yet, or in like really big sizes. But it doesn't actually, like, it will be superconductive at like 70, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty awesome. Um, Oh, everything just transforms. Yeah, well, that's true. I'm just saying, though, like, if you're... think about it this way, though. You're transforming the energy, right? So you're taking the oscillating energy. Basically, what you're doing is you're adding... So you have the voltage, the electric energy from the circuit, right? So the biasing voltage is going to be present in the oscillation voltage, because the biasing voltage is what determines the magnitude of that oscillating voltage, right? So, okay, you've got that part of it. But what the inductor would do by oscillating that magnetic field, or at least what my mind thinks it may do, is it would you would be able to convert the energy that's held in the frequency of oscillation. So, like, an oscillation frequency of 10 hertz would have less energy than an oscillation frequency of 100 hertz, right? So if you change the frequency or scaled up the frequency, if you put that inductor like that and stepped it through, you would have a little bit extra coming out in addition to whatever your biasing voltage is off the oscillator output, right? And that's going through the inductor. It comes out through your secondary line that's attached to the inductor to go through the transformers, right? So, okay, you have a little bit extra coming through. You use that to charge capacitor stages slowly. So those charge slowly. Once they charge up enough, you pass that through a transformer that steps it up from like the 12 to 15 volts where it's probably sitting at initially, up to like 200, 240 volts AC. Which is easy to do with a transformer if you stack capacitors. You put more capacitors on the higher voltage side, and then you can feed that 240 line back through a separate, like, part of it. You make like a parallel branch off of the 240 line that goes back through another transformer that steps it back down to 12 volts to run the recharger on the DC like power supply, so for the biasing voltage. And then the rest of the 240 volts, so you're remaining like 200 volts, let's just say, if you're being like if you're sending 40 volts just to recharge the biasing voltage supply, you would still have 200 volts AC that's like available and ready to use on other stuff, but all it cost you was like a 12-volt battery starting voltage. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that actually would work. It probably wouldn't. Otherwise, we'd probably be doing it already. But it's cool to think about because you're right. I mean, you can't create or destroy energy. It just gets transformed. But right now, I don't think we really utilize the energy that's... Well, like there's not a representation for the energy that's stored in frequency of voltage. Oh, that could be. Yeah, that could be. The first current request would drain it. That's possible. I don't know. It's hard. Like, I don't know if there'd be a way to do it or not, but it's interesting to think about because... Yeah, and I don't have a schematic drawn out or anything like that. This is just, like, I can kind of see a picture of what it would look like in my mind type of a deal. And it's interesting to think about, but I haven't actually done any testing or looking into it. I could do testing and look into it with multisim if I wasn't lazy, but I'm lazy. That's pretty cool. Solar is pretty interesting, like AT328P. That'd be pretty sweet. Um, yeah, actually building like a power system and stuff like that. I really wanted to dabble with that kind of stuff. I just haven't had the, like, I haven't invested the money into it, I guess. But I'm probably gonna wrap up the stream here. It's autonomous, like your crazy crystal idea. Yeah, exactly. Which is why I like it. I like automated stuff. I like automated stuff. Yeah, exactly. You put a small rock in and you're good. And you know, you just scale the size of the rock if you want to generate more power. But anyway, it's one of those things you like. Whoever figures out how to use quartz oscillate or crystal oscillators to like make a power supply, they're gonna be crazy rich. But all right, it's been fun streaming. I'll wait until we warp into this next sector before we wrap up, but I think I am gonna call it here for today. Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, I know, I wish I could have stayed a little bit longer. Yeah, I'm sorry, Vaulted. I'm glad you got in. I'm gonna check out Rusty's Galaxy before the, like, in between streams, that kind of stuff and stuff. Just got back from school. All right, Vaulted. Well, I might come back and stream a little bit later today. I don't know yet. But I gotta go do a couple of things real quick, and then yeah, I might come back and play a little bit more later today. But it's been really fun. It was, yeah, Rusty's Galaxy. I mean, on Reddit at least, that seems to be the one that people say you should try out that server because it's supposed to be pretty good. But yeah. Ah, yes, we finally got the Smuggler's Outpost. That is good timing to wrap up. We found the Smuggler's Outpost we've been looking for like 30 minutes. And we're in the region where we can start raiding. So we're going to do raiding next time. And then, yeah, so I might come back later and stream a little bit more today. But I'm going to head out for now. Yes, I can totally watch your game vaulted. I might actually take you up on that. You'll get a notification if I come in and view. But until I stream next time, I will see all of you. Thank you for your support and your viewership. I appreciate it.